people dead, including a gunman. A 19-year-old expelled student returned to his former school today and opened fire with a pistol and a shotgun. When the dust settled, 13 teachers, 2 girls, a secretary, a policeman, and the gunman were dead. He killed himself as commandos closed in. It happened in the city of Erfurt in eastern Germany. Police say the expelled student came back looking for revenge. At one point, students were trapped inside the building, 180 of them, and some held up a sign in the window with the word help. Outside, shocked students from the Johann Gutenberg Gymnasium School tried to console each other without much success. There was no consolation after this brutal day of violence at a German school. 6 of the 8 active U.S. Cardinals are in Philadelphia tonight, gathered for a dinner to benefit Catholic University in Washington. But needless to say, most of the attention today was focused on the church's sex abuse scandal and the church's policy on pedophile priests. Live at the Wyndham Franklin Plaza tonight, Action News reporter Karen Rogers. Karen.
Jim, the American Cardinals dinner travels from city to city each year, allowing people all over the country a chance to meet these church leaders. And of course, this year with the sex abuse scandal, the dinner takes on a different tone. Cardinal Bevilacqua started the evening by clarifying the Cardinals' position on zero tolerance.
That no priest guilty of even one act of sexual abuse of a minor will function in any ecclesial ministry or any capacity in our diocese.
Cardinal Bevilacqua says if the bishops approve the zero tolerance policy at their meeting in June, it will be sent to the Vatican and then become law. All but 2 of America's Cardinals are in town tonight for the 13th annual American Cardinals dinner. Some 800 people paid $1,000 a plate to raise funds for the Catholic University of America. The evening started with a mass at the Cathedral Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul. Outside the church, a handful of protesters gathered. They've raised a variety of concerns at the demonstration sponsored by the Women's Ordination Conference.
Women the world over, whether they're in churches or not in churches, they've been the best ministers to people.
But the focus tonight was on the dinner and the outpouring of support from the faithful who say they will stand by their church.
I think it's important that Catholics now support the church in a time of trouble.
I think the press has made too much of this. What has happened is very, very serious, and the Cardinals have addressed it with the Holy Father. They're taking the necessary measures, and hopefully everything is going to be fine.
The Archbishop of Boston, Cardinal Bernard Law, attended the dinner tonight. Law has been under fire in the sex abuse scandal. Now tonight his spokesperson denied reports that Law will be replaced and take a position at the Vatican. All of America's Cardinals are on the Board of Trustees for the Catholic University, which was founded by the bishops in the 1800s. And tonight they raised $1 million that will be used in scholarships for the university. Live in Center City, Karen Rogers, Channel 6 Action News.
Thank you, Karen. In the Middle East, Israeli forces had to drive back a large crowd of Palestinians advancing on the embattled compound of Yasser Arafat in Ramallah today. Israeli troops fired tear gas and stun grenades toward hundreds of demonstrators protesting Arafat's confinement. The crowd dispersed. 11 people were injured. In Bethlehem, 4 Palestinian policemen emerged from the Church of the Nativity and surrendered to Israeli troops. 2 Palestinians inside the church were wounded by Israeli sniper fire. Officials say there are signs that the 24-day standoff at the church may be entering its final phase. Meanwhile, Israeli forces re-entered the West Bank town of Kalkilia and killed the local leader of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. 16 Palestinians were arrested, and then Israeli forces left. Back in this country, Center City rape suspect Troy Graves had his first court appearance in Colorado today, and that's where prosecutors disclosed a brand new allegation. Action News reporter Michelle McCormack is live in Fort Collins, Colorado tonight. Michelle, what's the latest there?
Well, Jim, with the formal charging today, the prosecution revealed that the crime spree they allege Graves started last summer, he attempted to resume this spring.
And around like 3:30 in the morning, I heard a really loud scream.
For weeks, residents wondered if the man who a college co-ed fought off in this Fort Collins apartment April 12th was the same man who had attacked on a half-dozen different occasions last summer. The prosecution made it clear it believes he is, with the formal charging of 29-year-old Troy Graves. 27 counts in all, stemming from 7 incidents with a total of 8 victims.
Everyone's really worried and paranoid, but now that they caught him, there's a big relief in the whole town.
Young women packed the video court appearance of Graves, some too emotional to speak afterwards, others saying they had to see to believe.
I wanted to hear firsthand what's going on.
Was there any satisfaction or relief in seeing him?
In Orange, yeah. He's in jail.
Where you will detect discomfort now is on the block where Graves shared this modest brick house with his bride of about 1 year.
What can you say about the rapist next door?
Neighbors recall how the senior airman went out of his way to keep his distance.
About the only time I ever saw him was just getting in and out of his car.
He never looked over to say hi or anything?
No.
His wife hasn't been seen here since a hasty exit the day Graves was arrested. Until then, everything seemed typical.
They seemed like they had a good relationship. There was never no violence. I mean, sometimes they had their blinds open. You can see them kind of caressing each other or whatever, romantic nights or whatever.
Now held without bail at the Larimer County Detention Center, authorities also notified the Ben Salem High dropout, who claims to have a GED, that a fugitive arrest warrant has been issued for the Center City rape cases and the murder of graduate student Shannon Schieber. Detectives from Philadelphia's Homicide and Special Victims units visited Graves Thursday in between meetings with the Fort Collins detectives who made the arrest, both departments honoring a Colorado-imposed gag order. Detective, would you say it's been a productive trip?
Can't comment, thank you.
The prosecution says it has left open the door for a possible plea agreement and would like the Colorado cases resolved first before Graves goes to Philadelphia for prosecution. In Fort Collins, Michelle McCormack, Channel 6 Action News.
Thank you, Michelle. Investigators in Honduras say Grammy-winning award singer Lisa Left Eye Lopez was behind the wheel of the SUV in which she was killed overnight. Police said late tonight that Lopez lost control when she tried to pass a car on a two-lane road and a truck approached in the other direction. 7 other people suffered injuries. Lopez was part of the R&B trio TLC, which has sold more albums, more records, more CDs than any other female group in history. She was 30 years old. There is new information tonight about what may have caused that deadly train accident in Placentia, California. 2 people were killed, more than 150 injured when a freight train plowed into a passenger train on Tuesday. Now the engineer of the freight train has told authorities that the sun was so bright he couldn't see the yellow caution light warning him to slow down. And by the time he saw the red light, it was just too late. Good news for Boeing workers in Ridley Park, Delaware County tonight. The Pentagon has cleared the way for the V-22 Osprey to fly again. The tilt-rotor aircraft may be flying by the second week in May. The Osprey was grounded after December 11, 2000. That was the second of 2 crashes that killed a total of 23 Marines. V-22 flight tests are expected to take another 2 years. Officials say vandals are responsible for more than $17,000 in graffiti damage to Love Park in Philadelphia and the famous Love statue. The park was closed for renovations yesterday, taking away a popular spot for local skateboarders who will be banned from the park when the improvements are completed. Officials say the damaged statue will have to be removed for repairs and cleaning. And that missing viola we told you about last night at 11 o'clock has been found. An Action News viewer called authorities after recognizing the $30,000 instrument as the same one that had been mistakenly left at the Rouge restaurant on Rittenhouse Square earlier this week by its owner. The viola has been returned to its owner, a member of the Philadelphia Orchestra. Still to come on Action News tonight, they thought they had new jobs, but these people say they are the victims of a scam. On Health Check, a new pill that could help millions of people suffering from diabetes.
AccuWeather says rain is on the way. We'll check it out with Storm Tracker 6 Live. And, of course, we'll have the rest of the exclusive AccuWeather forecast for the weekend.
The Flyers work overtime for playoff survival. Gary Papa with that story when Action News continues tonight.
They see dead people. And this time, it's not a movie.
Oh, look at this. There's 3 of them right there in the middle.
Monday, Action News' Michelle McCormack will put you side by side with a group of local spirit hunters. They say they have proof of the paranormal. We went along to find out. We did see something. Seeing is believing with the Phantom Finders. Monday at 11, only on Action News. If you see news happening, call the Action News tip line toll-free at 866-NEWS-6 or contact us online at WPVI.com.
When America has somewhere to go, they get there in a Chevy. Today, Chevy's going to keep you and your family moving with $3,502 cash back or 0% APR on a 2002 Chevy Venture. Get up and get going with $3,502 cash back or 0% APR. Look for value. Look for the bow tie at your local Chevy dealer today.
One prediction.
Next Thursday, you're going to die.
To open her eyes. 1 week.
If you change the path you're currently on, the outcome is going to be different.
To change their destiny. Life or Something Like It. Rated PG-13. Now playing.
A smart fact from PetSmart. Pets love our stores as much as people do. For food and supplies, training and grooming, plus our low price guarantee, come in today. For a store near you, visit PetSmart.com.
Problems with homework usually reflect problems with math and reading skills. Huntington Learning Center can identify the problem and help your child reach his full potential. Call 1-800-CAN-LEARN. Huntington Learning Center. Huntington can help.
3,000 Hershey Foods workers from 2 Pennsylvania factories have walked off the job. They line both sides of Chocolate Avenue in Hershey, where one of the plants is located. The strike impacts on about 1/5 of the company's workforce. Contract talks broke down over health care and wages, and no new talks are scheduled. A number of people who thought they were in line for brand new jobs are saying they have been ripped off. They say they have been victimized by a hoax. David Henry has more in this Action News investigation.
You think you've done anything wrong?
David Clark promised a bright future. These people and at least 20 others say he delivered broken promises and shattered dreams.
I'm very angry.
Some gave up good jobs to follow Clark's dream. Our Action News investigation has uncovered an elaborate scheme that even enlisted the unwitting help of the Better Business Bureau. Last summer, David Clark created a company he called Clark Industrial Management, specializing in welfare-to-work training and small business consulting. He started hiring, claimed the company had been around for at least 6 years.
Clark told me he had $2.5 billion worth of contracts.
He told others he was hiring 6,000 people with a payroll of $100 million. He put out help wanted ads like this one on the internet. One of the first aboard, Norman Stokes, put up $5,000. He was hired as CEO with a promised $400,000 salary. Got this fancy business card with a picture of corporate headquarters. Look familiar? It's the old Metropolitan Hospital at 8th and Race. It's been vacant for years. Clark recruited employees at a city-sponsored job fair.
Oh, we were promised health benefits, 401k, company cars, cell phones, pay off all our student loans. I mean, just the world.
But first, they were told they would have to attend a series of training sessions, and they would have to pay a $300 training fee. The new recruits were told to meet at this building on Rising Sun Avenue, and this is what they found.
Besides pens and pencils and paper, nothing.
And there were no contracts, and Clark didn't own or rent any office buildings. He gained access to buildings by saying he was a prospective tenant. He's actually working out of this West Philadelphia row home. Clark tried to get lucrative government contracts, but couldn't show proof his company existed. CIM did look legitimate to many people, largely based on the approval of a trusted agency.
I checked the Better Business Bureau, checked out the Better Business Bureau.
And sure enough, there he was on the Better Business Bureau's website, Clark Industrial Management, established in 1996 with a satisfactory record, no complaints over the past 3 years.
To some extent, we rely on the company being truthful with us.
But Clark wasn't truthful, and the BBB apparently collected his membership fee, gave him the stamp of approval without checking into his references.
Yes, we do.
They can't tell us why.
The woman who would have done the investigation, she doesn't work here anymore.
You've got to wonder, like, what's the point of even having a Better Business Bureau if, you know, it's that easy to fool them?
As for David Clark, he has told us he can explain everything, and he's just waiting for investments and money to be transferred. We're still waiting for that explanation. His former employees, who never got paid, say they've heard the same story before. I'm David Henry, Channel 6 Action News.
On Health Check at 11 tonight, a new drug could potentially help millions of people fighting both diabetes and their weight. The Texas Diabetes Institute is developing what is called a fat burner pill. Unlike other weight loss drugs, the pill attacks fat cells without affecting organs like the heart. If trial tests are successful, the pill could be introduced in 2 years, first for diabetics and then for those at risk for developing diabetes. Former President Bill Clinton is getting a new dog. It is a chocolate Labrador Retriever puppy who is related to Buddy. In fact, I think he was sired by Buddy's nephew. I think that's the relationship. The former White House pet, of course, Buddy, died last January after being hit by a car near the Clintons' new home in suburban New York. Clinton had said that Buddy's death was the worst thing to happen to him since leaving the White House. The puppy's name has not been revealed by the breeder in Maryland or by the former president. Weekend AccuWeather forecast. Here's Dave Roberts and Storm Tracker Live.
Well,
What's up?
Storm Tracker 6 Live.
Oh. I'll get it straight at some point.
Let's hope we all do. All right, we have a frost advisory up tonight into the early morning hours.
That's Frost 6 Live.
Frost 6 Live advisory tonight for all of these counties with the exception of Philadelphia, Delaware, Newcastle, Kent, and Cape May. Let's go now to Storm Tracker 6 Live. Before we do that, we'll go to the moon. Look at this. Full moon tonight, 11 o'clock. That explains a few things. Pretty scene. That's the full moon over Philadelphia. I'm not sure who the statue is. I'm not sure. Someone will call and let us know. Statue 6. Oh, you guys are killing me tonight. Come on, you guys. All right, let's go to the satellite now along with Action Radar. There's the loop we can see every 20 seconds. There's nothing out there tonight, but some is on the way. We take a look at the 3D, and we look here and we look there, all around, up and down. Again, we are in the clear, but that's all going to change because now finally we get to the satellite along with Action Radar, and some cloud cover starting to fill into the area, but a little precip up there in New England, heading up there. Across the country, the big picture will show you what we're watching. You see this storm developing down to the south. Most of it's staying down to the south, but another frontal system getting ready to move into our area. So we've got a couple of fronts coming on through. Temperature-wise, at this hour, Chicago's 43, Atlanta 56, New York 52 degrees. Up in Bismarck, it's 34 degrees. Here we go for tomorrow. We got that frontal system coming on through. 62 degrees. We start out with sunshine, then clouds move in, and that's for Saturday, and then Saturday night we pick up some rain on into Sunday morning. We got a warm front coming up here also, so in addition to the warm air coming in later on Sunday evening, you could pick up some more rain. A high of 74 degrees, going to be windy, maybe even a thunderstorm. Lots of action over the weekend. Call from AccuWeather is cool, then warmer. Right now it's 37 in the Poconos, 50 in Cape May, 44 in Trenton, 40 degrees was our low. 63 degrees was the high today. In the Northeast, here we go. 46 degrees, 52 outside the station in Center City, and the airport, Camden, 51 degrees. Live on Sky 6 now. We're looking to the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Let's show you the numbers. 11 o'clock. We are reporting 52 degrees, relative humidity 61%. The barometer 30.25. It's on the rise. The winds are calm. Thank goodness for that. The ocean temperature is 53 degrees. The exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast tonight: clear and cold, 36 in the suburbs, 42 degrees for Center City. Saturday, we start out with sunshine, then the clouds build in. 62 degrees. We're looking for some rain to come in the evening, either early or later in the evening. Overnight on into Sunday, windy and warm. We're up to 74 degrees, and then we could have another round of rain Sunday night with the possibility of some thunderstorm systems changing quickly. Sun and clouds, 66 degrees, mostly sunny on Tuesday, 70 degrees, and 64 degrees, more clouds on Wednesday. Clear and cold tonight. We start out with sunshine in the morning, and things change a lot over the weekend.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Still to come on Action News, the Flyers get a goal, but do they have it tomorrow? Gary Papa with the answer when we continue in just a moment.
America's best-selling luxury SUV now has a stylish limited edition, the Lexus RX 300 Coach Edition, with 2 complimentary coach bags, a premium leather-trimmed interior, and bird's eye maple accents. Consider the road properly accessorized. See your New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania area Lexus dealer.
Watch Penn Vital Signs tomorrow at 7 p.m. only on 6ABC.
This spring, Lowe's is improving home improvement. Only Lowe's has top choice lumber, prime grade, and center cut, with 4 clean sides that fit together like a dream. And Lowe's has all the building materials the pros want. A complete line of windows and doors, even brands like Pella. And Lowe's promises low prices every day, guaranteed. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Use your Lowe's card and get 0 payments, 0 finance charges until January 2003.
Don't wait until fall for great model year-end savings. Get year-end prices now on Mercury Grand Marquis during the 2002 Grand Marquis Model Year-End Sales event. Right now, get the under 22 Grand Marquis. Every 2002 Grand Marquis must go, starting as low as $21,525. After $3,000 cash back or get low leases on Grand Marquis. So don't wait until fall for a great deal. The model year-end savings and May 1st. Hurry to your Mercury dealer.
Kohl's 50% off sale is this Friday and Saturday only. Come in and save 50% on hundreds of items store-wide. Save 50% on all Mrs. Juniors and Girls tanks and all men's Croft & Barrow piqué polos. Take 50% off all kids sets, all sunglasses, and all Sonoma sandals. Save 50% on all bed pillows and all accent rugs. And take 50% off our entire summer living patio shop at Kohl's 50% off sale, Friday and Saturday only. Kohl's, that's more like it.
Buick. This great American car company delivers the remarkable Rendezvous, offering the best of a luxury sedan, minivan, and SUV. Park Avenue, a refined blend of style and luxury. Choose 0% APR or cashback offers that range from $2,002 to $3,002 on every new Buick. Plus, current Buick GMAC lease customers get an additional $750 loyalty bonus. See your nearest Buick dealer today.
About the only thing as grim as the stock market these days is the state of the Flyers franchise.
Spent $55 million, and this is what you get. They hope to stay alive for game number 5, playing Ottawa Flyers early in the first. They are on the power play. And so are we. Here we go. Finally, they score after 320 minutes. Who's going to score?
Feeds, McGillis shot, he scores! He scores! It feels great to say he scores!
Dan McGillis is the answer to that question. 1-0, but then Ottawa is on the power play. In the first, this guy's so tough, Daniel Alfredson. What a shot, 1-1 after 1. All the way into overtime. Ottawa on the power play, and you can break out the golf club.
Waits. Now down low, Hossa center, they score! Havlat tipped it.
2-1 Ottawa to win the series in 5 afterwards. Here's Phil Andrews.
Has come to an end.
Well, Gary, perhaps the most unfortunate circumstances surrounding tonight's game is that the Flyers probably played their best game of this series so far and yet come up empty-handed. And perhaps had they played this way the entire series, we may be headed back to Ottawa for Game 6.
This is probably one of the most frustrating, I think. You know, we had very high hopes beginning of the year and coming into the playoffs, and you know, it's frustrating and very disappointing.
We're going to have to all look at ourselves in the summer here and over the next, you know, this makes for a very long summer for all of us, and you know, we're going to have to do a lot of soul searching.
We're not the first team that's supposed to win that's bad out in the first round. No, we won't be the last, but it feels like.
And so, Gary, a season that began with so much promise, so many new faces and thoughts of going back to the Stanley Cup Finals, once again ends here in the opening round. And now with the upseason coming up faster than the Flyers expected, what will happen with Bill Barber? Will he be the head coach next year? Stay tuned. At the First Union Center, I'm Phil Andrews, Channel 6 Action News.
Sounds like a soap opera. How about the Eagles mini camp today? A major problem. This is a very serious injury to one of their offensive weapons. Running back Correll Buckhalter just catching a pass, not hit by anybody. blew out a knee. ACL tear requiring major surgery, out 9 to 10 months. Phillies out in Colorado. Before the game, the Rockies fired their manager, Buddy Bell, replaced him with Clint Hurdle. Bases loaded, bottom of the first inning, Terry Adams to Todd Zeile, the former Philly, 1-0. Another Todd coming up. His name is Todd Hollinsworth. Infield hit. Right now in the bottom of the 7th inning, it is 2-0 Colorado. Sixers will be playing on Sunday. Their season could end as well.
Tough time.
Yes, it is.
Action News will be right back.
Thank you for calling Verizon. This is Kenya speaking. How may I help you?
You know, long-distance plans can be confusing. I never know what my rate really is.
Well, that's very easy to take care of. The Verizon Timeless Plan can help make your life a little easier.
Call 1-888-898-6882 now to get one low rate. 10 cents a minute for direct dial domestic calls 24/7 with no monthly plan fee.
The one rate, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, all right.
I hate those strange fees and weird charges.
I know what you mean.
You know, it's such a pain to deal with separate bills.
With Verizon, you get local and long distance on one bill at no extra cost, with no hidden charges and no surprises.
Yep, this is a great value.
Call 1-888-898-6882 now to sign up for the Timeless Plan.
10 cents a minute, all the time? Woo!
Verizon.
They've been pushed around, kicked in the mouth, and driven to the limits. And Chevy still keeps delivering with SUVs like Trailblazer, Tahoe, Avalanche, and Blazer. Now drive a 2002 Blazer LS 4-door 4-wheel drive for as low as $299 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for important details. So when you've got to depend on a truck, depend on the bow tie at your local Chevy dealer today.
So, you just finished test driving that new Mazda. How'd it go? Now get limited term 0.0% APR financing on every 2002 Mazda. Save on all Mazdas like Protege, Protege 5, Tribute, and Miata. So hurry to your Mazda dealer for a test drive and get 0% APR financing. The offers are special. The exhilaration is standard.
Or, to put it another way,
the new Saab 9.5. With a more solid ride and a turbocharged engine you can't wait to take advantage of.
Yeah, you know, can I try the red one again?
Oh. Right now, lease a Saab 9.5 linear sedan as low as $359 a month for 36 months. For details, see your Saab dealer.
Nightline is next on Channel 6. Action News continues at 6 a.m. with Anita Brickman, Scott Palmer, and David Murphy. Now for Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, the entire Action News team, I'm Jim Gardner. Have a good night. Have a great weekend.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Verizon Communications. How safe are your investments? Next Oprah, 12:35 tonight.
On The Practice.
This is about you and me sleeping together.
Never fall for the boss.
You're saying that's my fault.
Because a torrid affair could put an end to a career.
She has poisoned this place.
On The Practice.
Saturday night after Action News on 680C.
This is Ed Rendell. Pennsylvania is now facing many of the same problems we faced when I was mayor. Unemployment is rising, state revenues are falling. I want to use the same experience at the state level that we did here. I proposed an economic development plan to help the state's economy. And my experience cutting taxes and turning Philadelphia's deficit into a surplus is what the state needs right now. Please help me. Together, we can get Pennsylvania moving in the right direction again.
During the Chrysler Challenge, we challenge you to find any brand that gives you cash allowances up to $2,500 or 0% financing on select vehicles and 7-year 100,000-mile protection on engines and transmissions. Only one brand gives you all that. Chrysler. Go ahead, compare, and you'll see just where we're leaving the competition.
Great products, great protection, great value. Take the Chrysler Challenge. See your Chrysler dealer today.
Well, you've lost him. If you'll excuse me. I hate it when he does that. I'm a Jedi.
The Jedi! What do you know?
We're keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
Always a pleasure to meet a Jedi.
You must join me, Obi-Wan. This party's over.
Rated PG. Ford says their Explorer has no boundaries, but the GMC Envoy not only gets more horsepower and better fuel efficiency, it also just won Motor Trend's 2002 Sport Utility of the Year award. It seems while Ford's talking about boundaries, our engineers are pushing them. Current GMC lessees can use their lease loyalty to lease this Envoy SLE 4x4 for as low as $349 a month. Call for residency restrictions and lease details.
Philadelphia's teachers speak out on the education ad Ed Rendell is running in Pittsburgh.
Ed Rendell took a troubled school system.
We're still troubled.
Started full-day kindergarten.
That is not true.
And put 14,000 volunteers.
I'd like to see where these volunteers are.
Test scores rose for
That's just absurd.
Smaller class sizes.
Not true, Mayor Rendell.
The schools were not a priority to him. The state takeover is the evidence.
He definitely can't take credit for what he says, and if he showed that ad here in Philadelphia, he'd be a laughing stock.
Yeah.
April 26th, 2002.
It could be home to the last great untapped oil reserve in the world.
Total oil in place has been estimated to be about 25 billion barrels.
It is also home to some of America's newest allies.
We have a number of new friends, but we're not unmindful that a number of these new friends do not have the kind of political systems yet that we think are appropriate to the 21st century.
In many ways, these states are more Soviet than the Soviet Union.
There are no democratic institutions in Kazakhstan. There are no procedures to defend people's rights.
Tonight, in the national interest, a new oil supply, but at what price?
From ABC News, this is Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
Kyrgyzstan. If you can spell it or find it on a map, you're probably among a very few people in this country who could. If beyond that you can explain the relevance of Kyrgyzstan to U.S. national interests, you are particularly well informed. Actually, Kyrgyzstan is in the news today. Our Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld visited the country today. Among other things, he inspected a new U.S. air base there. Ostensibly, it's all about the global war on terrorism. Aircraft based in Kyrgyzstan can and do support the U.S. war effort in Afghanistan. But there are other, longer-range American interests at stake in the region. We began to lay those out for you in our broadcast last night. While Kyrgyzstan, which used to be one of the Soviet republics, has neither oil nor natural gas, it sits right in the middle of a region that has a great deal of both. So much, in fact, that the region could one day become a viable alternative to what is now our main overseas source of energy, the Persian Gulf. The problem in years past has always been accessibility. U.S. energy companies have been interested in the enormous resources of the region for years, but getting that oil and gas out of Central Asia and onto the world market without passing through Russia or Iran has been a nearly insoluble problem. One remote possibility has involved moving those supplies through a pipeline that would pass through Afghanistan and Pakistan. In the context of the current global war on terrorism, the United States has been positioning itself in a way that could make that remote possibility much more likely. Nightline correspondent Dave Marish recently returned from assignment to the region. Here's his report.
It is one of the ugliest landscapes on Earth, the northeast shore of the Caspian Sea. But this corner of Kazakhstan is also one of the potentially richest places on the planet, and thereby a place of real geostrategic importance.
Let's assume that Saddam Hussein decides he wants no longer to export oil to international markets. So that's 2 million barrels of Iraqi oil off the market. By 2005, the Caspian could very well be producing and exporting 2 million barrels.
So if America went to war against Iraq,
the shock of any Persian Gulf disruption could easily be absorbed by exports from the Caspian. And that's why the Caspian is critical.
There are high stakes for everyone in Kazakhstan's oil and gas development. High stakes to match the high degree of difficulty involved in bringing this oil to world markets. The newest, hottest Caspian oil field to come online, Tengiz, is being developed by an international consortium led by the American energy company Chevron Texaco, who arranged transportation for us to visit Tengiz.
Well, the Tengiz field is one of the largest fields discovered in recent history. Total oil in place has been estimated to be about 25 billion barrels.
Everything about the Tengiz project is big. Huge deposits of gas and oil, significant challenges of technology, transportation, and international politics, and some of the biggest companies in the oil industry investing billions of dollars. A lot of that money has gone into transportation, first creating a rail system to move oil. The new Caspian pipeline from Kazakhstan to Novorossiysk in Russia on the Black Sea opened late last year. Even with this pipeline now complete, the Tengiz investment is no sure thing.
The Caspian is expensive to drill in comparison to the Middle East, for example, where the cost of production and transportation is far lower than the Caspian.
First of all, the depth is extreme. Which means very sophisticated drilling techniques need to be employed, and very sophisticated, very large drilling rigs have to be employed to do that type of drilling.
This deep drilling is hard work under any conditions, but the climate of the Caspian coast makes everything harder.
Well, the working conditions on the surface are very extreme in the winter. They'll range all the way down to a range of -20, -30 degree F. And in the summer, it's very hot. It can get as hot as 115, 120 degrees F.
And then there are the conditions below the surface. Drilling shafts in the Tengiz's sandy, salty soil often re-tighten, start to collapse in on themselves.
They can become unstable. But in addition to that, we have a tremendous amount of sour gas that we have to deal with in addition to the high pressure.
Sour gas means high levels of hydrogen sulfide.
A very poisonous gas, and that complicates it because we have to keep that gas contained all the time and away from the workers and the environment.
To neutralize the gas, it must be turned into sulfur, caked and baked into inert bricks, which soon become walls and then solid mountains of yellow sulfur. Tengiz Chevroil says this has kept the sulfur safe and saleable. A Kazakh prosecutor says the sulfur is dangerous waste and against the law. Big fines lurk.
It's not a waste product, and certainly it's not dangerous.
Some company officials think the lawsuit is just a back-channel way for the government to get more money out of the oil companies.
It's very important for policymakers and business people to keep in mind that when you have corruption and you have total absence of rule of law, you can't really do good business.
More than just an additional cost of doing business, human rights advocate Acacia Shields says corruption in Kazakhstan and Central Asia erodes everything.
The issue of corruption is so pervasive. It leads to a disaffected and impoverished population, and that is a dangerous formula.
Balanced against that danger, the prospect of Kazakhstan as a full-fledged ally.
Kazakhstan is absolutely committed to its obligations with regard to the anti-terror operations under the auspices of the United States government. And if necessary, Kazakhstan could provide its territory for the military base of the United States.
The foreign minister speaks for the government of Kazakhstan. Who speaks for the people?
Broad U.S. national interests are reshaping our politics toward Central Asia. But are the people there being left behind, and does it matter to Washington if they are? That part of the story when we come back.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you.
The new Roadstar Warrior from Yamaha.
Counselor, or do you expect to just keep fighting this and get to the bottom of this?
That's, you know something, the Fords resisted gag orders to get these documents out. They resisted the court.